Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And the Rise of Skywalker is giving people seizures.
Yeah, well, we knew this could be a possibility because they put a warning out a while ago.
But we didn't know if it would actually happen because they did put that warning out. Disney did put a warning out, but people are having seizures. And it's not because of the Reylo ship not going the way they wanted it to. It's not because the ending didn't go the way they wanted it to. It's not because Rose Tico only had 76 seconds of screen time. They're having seizures probably because of Palpatine's lightning. Oh, spoiler! Palpatine's back and he's got lightning.
If you don't know that, then there's something wrong because all the commercials show it. Anyway,
yeah, so we're going to talk about that. They're talking about the seizures being induced by the Rise of Skywalker. This is not one I thought we would have to do because, again, I thought they gave a warning. I thought people would be like, oh, I might have a seizure. I'm not going to go see this movie.
well, I would think they were being really cautious and they put that out there, but I didn't think it actually would cause a seizure. But it caused multiple seizures. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But first, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're trying to hit 100,000. We're getting there, guys. Also, make sure you're still subscribed because apparently some people were getting unsubscribed. Because you guys don't have the right opinion about Star Wars and Disney, you get unsubscribed all of a sudden.
Yeah, right.
So, double check that. Make sure you share. And off we go. Anyway.
And off we go. Okay, coming from the New York Post, Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, giving people seizures. The Force may have been a bit too strong.
Wow. Here's the thing, guys. Disney, I'm not going to fault Disney too much on this because, well, there's two sides to this. Because they really, really did go out of their way to make sure there was a warning posted. It was all over the news, all over the media. Disney made sure they covered their butts on this one and said, warning, 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 don't go see it because it's important that you understand this could cause seizures. So Disney really, really did right by that, by going out and making sure everybody understood that. But on the flip side, I would have thought if it was a real concern, like it was not just like, you know, they were just doing it because they said it could cause a seizure and they were just making sure. If it was really that bad that it caused multiple seizures, why did they not tone it down some for the actual release?
Well, we were just talking about that before we started recording. Like, they can patch movies now because they patched Cats.
Well, they might with something like this if it's causing seizures.
You know, can they patch The Rise of Skywalker? And can they change the ending, too, while they're at it?
Well, they're not going to do that. But they might be able to tone down some of the effects or change the rate on it so it's not so, you know, in that range.
Seizure-y. Yes, multiple Star Wars fans have reported suffering from seizures after watching the latest franchise installment, The Rise of Skywalker. I'm trying not to giggle because it's not funny. It's not funny. But it's also just a weird headline like Star Wars is causing seizures.
Right.
You know, so Suzanne Jones, 19-year-old retail employee in New Orleans, suffers from epilepsy, said strobing from the film was so bad it forced her to leave the movie in the first 30 minutes and she suffered a seizure in the hallway just outside the showing at the AMC Elmwood Plaza 20. She called a friend who worked at the theater who arrived to assist just as the seizure began. It lasted from 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah, usually, not always, but a lot of times people who have epilepsy and have seizures often, there's signs that you know it's coming.
Yeah.
Like there's different things, different, you know, ways your body feels that you can kind of tell
so she
coming.
Tried to get out of the theater and it happened. It lasted 30 seconds to a minute. She said the EMS were called, but she didn't end up requiring any additional treatment. Jones said she likely averted something much worse by taking a quick dose of her anti-seizure medication right as she felt it coming on.
Yeah, like I said, it doesn't always be the case, but like my brother used to have the really bad seizures and there'd be warning signs. And so the teachers would call my mom because they knew it was coming, because there was different signs about it. And I you know, a lot of people who we have relatives have seizures and different things. I had epilepsy, but mine weren't the bad ones, thankfully. But you can usually feel it coming on.
Yeah, so I recently watched the original trilogy and it didn't remotely bother me, but this last one is particularly flashy. Yeah, I did see the, I'm not going to say how I saw it. Well, actually it was on YouTube, the Palpatine lightning scene, and it looked pretty flashy. I wish they had been a little smarter about it. There's so much special effects technology to have that effect you wanted, but being a little more conscious and safe about it. Now, with The Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
When it was in the theater, it was very flashy because we saw it opening weekend.
Yep.
And then they dialed it back for the home video release.
Even Squid King said when it happened, he's like, "How is there not an epilepsy warning on this?" And that was, you know, my 15-year-old saying this, and well, he might have been 14 at the time. 14,
yeah.
And he knew that they should have had a warning, and they did put a warning out like right after the opening, like it was like the next week of the opening weekend. They had a warning out for that. But they did change it for DVD, which they'll probably do with this. But I would patch it if I were them.
Patch it? Well, this is what's... Okay, now we're going down another road here, but real quick is... What we're talking about the patching, if you haven't watched our Cats videos, they patched Cats. The special effects were not finished. Didn't help the movie any, because it still bombed. But now they've taken to patching movies as they're running in the theater. So I'm like...
Well, yeah, because they can download the movie.
Yeah, you can download the movies now because everything's digital. So it's like, okay, well, just patch it so it's less flashy. Well, here we have a 23-year-old office assistant in Stockton. I used to live near Stockton. Who also has epilepsy. She managed to sit through the flick even though it triggered both a migraine and pre-seizure episode.
She had auras, yeah.
Yeah, auras. I thought about leaving the theater, but then I toughed it out. I did get up and go to the bathroom to feel better. She had a seizure shortly before the film, knew it might be a bad idea going in. Well, yeah, they had a warning, but did so because she was a super fan.
Yeah, but that, she kind of admits it's her own fault because she shouldn't have gone and she knows she shouldn't have gone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she admits that there was warnings and she knew. So, I mean, I don't think Disney was wrong in this one because they really went out of their way to make sure people understood that before the movie came out.
December 6th, Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, flashing lights could pose seizure risks. Disney warns almost like three weeks before the movie came out. She said she wished she listened to her body, but she liked the movie. Jones and Warrior are far from alone. There's no way to know exactly how many people suffered seizures.
We know 2 people.
Yeah, at least 3 other people on Twitter reported having them as a result, and how many other people had it.
It could be that people on social media or whatever.
Yeah, here is someone talking about their little boy. Love the new Star Wars, but my son couldn't watch the parts he was most excited for because of the effects. He closed his eyes, and I whispered what was happening. Darcy Mahaffey, the Star Wars fan, said on Twitter before asking both Disney and director J.J. Abrams whether the DVD could be edited in a way that people susceptible to seizures can watch.
Which they did do with Incredibles. They did do that with Incredibles.
Yeah, it was a pretty noticeable difference too. It was because Squid King was, even when we watched it, when we got it on digital, he was like, they really toned this down. Because I remember, and I don't have a seizure disorder, but I remember watching it in the theater on The Incredibles, and it was like so intense I had to look away a little bit. It had the black and white walls and the flashing.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa. You know?
See, I had epilepsy, I outgrew it. I don't get the seizures type things anymore. I do get migraines often, and I do get I had the aura effect the other day. It was really, I couldn't even read all of letters that were on the mall entrance because my eyes were all blurred out with the aura and stuff. So, I mean, I actually was going to go see this. Now I'm kind of like worried I shouldn't because it can trigger migraines and auras and stuff for me, but it doesn't go into seizures now.
Now, this is really interesting. They said now they're sort of asking J.J. Abrams why he kept the scene in the movie because he's been an advocate for people with epilepsy.
I'm wondering that too because I mean I get they put the warning out and that was right. I am not faulting Disney on that. Disney was right to do that and I'll stand by that. But I'm also like, if it was bad enough that they felt they needed a warning, why did they not make a couple changes? Because you still could have had that kind of effect, but just toned it down a tiny bit.
Yeah, because here, this is interesting. It says it's unclear why Disney kept the strobing despite being aware of the risk to epileptic Star Wars fans. A rep for the company did not respond. Of course they didn't. To a request for comment from the Post, the decision is doubly strange given Abrams' public advocacy on behalf of people with epilepsy.
That is strange.
Someone you already know has probably already had a seizure, a friend, a coworker, family member, but they haven't told you because they're afraid of what you might think, he said in a 2016 video for the Epilepsy Foundation. There is nothing to be ashamed of. That's why it's so important that we talk about it. And one of the actors, Greg Grunberg, who plays Snap Wexley in the film, has a son with epilepsy and launched a website called Talk About It, entirely dedicated to epilepsy awareness. Yet Disney's like, weird. This movie might cause people to have seizures, and they're like, well, screw it.
I mean, I just don't understand. I mean, I think Disney did right by the warning, but if they knew it was that bad enough that they were having pressure to issue a warning, and you have a director who advocates epilepsy, I don't understand why they didn't fix it before it came to theaters. But then even if they had thought they fixed it, doesn't mean they actually fixed it, and it could have still caused problems for some people. So
yeah, I mean, but there was a warning. I mean, I guess in this case, it's like Disney did its due diligence.
It's not Disney's fault.
No, this is not Disney's fault. They did give a warning. And even the one fan, she admitted, she's like, yeah, I figured it might trigger me to have a seizure, but I went anyway, so it's on me.
It just sucks for people who have epilepsy that can't go see it because, you have a seizure. but I don't know what to tell you.
That'll be one of the excuses they use for the opening weekend. They'll be like, oh yeah, because we gave a seizure warning that negatively affected the box office. That's why. That's it. That's a ticket.
Yeah. So anyway, if you have epilepsy or you have seizures, or even if you have like photosensitivity that causes migraines or things like that, just keep that in mind if you're going to go out to see Star Wars. A lot of people already went already and they're fine. Just, you know, some people are more susceptible than others in this film. So
you can go see Cats. Cats doesn't cause seizures, but it might knock you into heat, which might actually be worse depending on your situation.
I think more people are triggered about the stuff that wasn't in the movie they wanted than it is about having seizures. So
yeah. I know that one video they had of the Reylo fans at the end. They were screaming at the movie, and it was like, no. I guess we can wrap this one up.
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture reviews, views, and rants. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.